So welcome to the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. The museum believes that climate change is going to be one of the defining issues of the 21st century. It's going to affect us all in many ways. And right now at the museum we have probably the world's best exhibit on climate change. It'll be here through the end of December. It's an exhibit produced by the American Museum of Natural History in New York, and it's traveling all over the world, but it's here in Cleveland from now until December 31st. The exhibit does a great job explaining how our climate is changing, what's happening to our ice around the world, terrestrial ecosystems, the oceans, and our atmosphere. And it does a great job talking about how scientists know that these things are happening. Here we have an example of one of the most threatened ecosystems on the planet as a result of climate change. Ocean coral reefs are being degraded in part because the ocean is becoming more acidic as a result of climate change and also becoming warmer. Climate change is already having lots of impacts around the world. Species are moving, habitats are on the move. For example, this Arctic fox may be moving north to more northerly climates. We may lose our maple sugaring here in Northeast Ohio. We may lose our hemlocks. And if you're a gardener, you've noticed that the hardiness zones have changed and your growing season is longer. Things that are already happening as a result of the changing climate. And then some things that we may have to worry about. Diseases may migrate northward. Things like malaria may come into more of the United States because of the warmer climate. In addition, it could be very disruptive to wildlife. You know, when the birds migrate north in the spring, there's a synchronicity of the bird migration. Insects appear at certain times, the flowers bloom. All that has to happen in an orchestrated way. If things are disrupted, the birds might arrive and their insects, which are their food supply, might not be there. So climate change could have really disruptive effects. Here in the Cleveland area, we might have to really worry about more sudden rainstorms, more flooding, as well as heat waves. What would it be like if we had a whole summer full of 100-degree days? Well, we may find out in the future. Our planet is warming up, and it's doing that because our industrial civilization is burning more and more fossil fuels, coal and natural gas and petroleum. And every time we do that, we release greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide. Those gases act as sort of an insulating blanket that keep our Earth warmer than it might ordinarily be. Scientists have a really good record of the greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. And one way they track that is by looking at ice cores. They drill down into places like Antarctica and Greenland and get these long ice cores which trap air bubbles in different times of the Earth's history. So they can go back and take a sample of the air, maybe hundreds of thousands of years old, and analyze the composition so they know how much carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases existed throughout the Earth's history. Climate change is a serious problem for our society and our planet, but fortunately there are a lot of things that we can do to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and reduce the energy that we're consuming. And those things range from all kinds of things like what you do on your landscaping outdoors, consuming less at home, saving energy by adjusting your thermostats or weatherizing your house, or your transportation is about a quarter of your greenhouse gases, and you can even start riding a bike more. So lots of things you can do in transportation to reduce the amount of energy you're consuming. Even your diet can have a big effect on climate change. By eating a diet that has less meat, is more vegetarian, it's not only healthier for you, but it's also healthier for the planet. So if there's a silver lining about climate change, it's that we can all do our part to reduce greenhouse gases by saving energy, by saving money, and helping make the planet a healthier place. This has been a sneak preview of the climate change exhibit at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. It's a fascinating exhibit that talks about how our planet is changing in many ways, some ways that we should be very concerned about. It also does a great job talking about how scientists know that the planet is changing, and also talks about ways that we can all do our part to reduce greenhouse gases in the future, reduce our energy consumption, save money, and develop a healthier, more sustainable world.